Hello. Welcome to the 15th part of the Solo Max level newbie. A special thanks to my Patreon for supporting me. And if you want to support, you can join my channel membership or Patreon for as low as $1. Thank you very much. Let's begin. At the beginning of this part, we see that one of the demonic humans says, "Those idiots. They don't even know what's going on. You should all look forward to it. A very fun festival is about to begin." One of them dies. They say, "Who is it?" "There are some undead monsters." Wu Lian says, "It's just as the liege said. There are a bunch of garbage piled here." She calls the Shadow Squad. She says, "Carry out the liege's orders." Shadow Squad starts to kill them and says, "Yes, sir." Giant King says, "A human like you dare to put a hand on Mother? How arrogant. This is a sacred ground, only meant for Mother and her children." He uses the giant's ultimate strike. Jinhyuk dodges the attack. He says, "You keep saying Mother this, Mother that. I don't care about your family role-playing." Jinhyuk punches him. He activates Colossus ultimate strike. Giant King blocks the attack. Jinhyuk says, "Just one attack isn't gonna do it." Jinhyuk again uses the giant's ultimate strike. He uses it again and again. King Giant thinks, "This human. He's strong." He swings his sword and says, "I admit that you're no ordinary human. But what about your friends out there? They're probably being massacred by now because of the barrier's effects. Are you sure it's fine to leave them alone like that?" Jinhyuk smiles and says, "Geez, you're worrying about my friends now? If they can't even withstand that much, then they shouldn't be my friends." Jinhyuk activates Dark Heavenly Demon Emperor Arts and says, "So worry about yourself instead." Giant coughs out blood and thinks, "He punched me through my defense? Is this the Murim Bastard's technique?" T-Bone attacks Yggdrasil. She says, "Agrichan." T-Bone says, "Oops. Excuse me. Hey, I have to take that thing inside you." Jinhyuk smiles and thinks, there are two ways to clear the 21st floor. First is to take Yggdrasil's White Jade, and the second is to bring down the boss who has been chosen by the White Jade. Jinhyuk gets really excited and says, "Now, what will you do?" Giant thinks, all of Mother's insect soldiers will get wiped out soon. The White Jade is in danger. "Mother, I will use that, so please be careful." Giant puts the sword in the ground. Jinhyuk smiles. Giant says, "I, Agrichan, will show you how I was able to rise as the king of the giants, despite my small stature." He activates Berserker. System says, for 60 minutes, Agrichan's attack power, speed, and movement speed will be increased 30%. Yggdrasil surrounds herself with insects and says, "Soldiers, protect me." T-Bone says, "Master, the tree is acting weird." King gets ready to use a really strong attack. He uses a Rage Cyclone. Jinhyuk uses Moon Hiding Nails. T-Bone is really scared and says, "Master." Jinhyuk says, "You're really strong." King screams. Jinhyuk says, "You've completely lost your reason." Jinhyuk says, "All right. That makes it more fun." Jinhyuk uses Fusion on Colossus Ultimate Strike and Moon Hiding Nails. Jinhyuk activates a 3-star barrier confinement of reality, and additionally fuse White Beast. System says, there is a risk of karma due to forced attempts at copying a higher being. Mana is running rampant. King attacked Jinhyuk with a really strong sword swing. Jinhyuk grabs the sword really easily. He activates Moon Imprints. His hands are blue and yellow nails, yellow lines covering his hand and arm. System says, Toongrave's right arm has successfully been created one. Due to the current level and stats, only 10% of the skill's full power can be activated. Strength stat has increased by 500%. Duration, 3 minutes 30 seconds. Jinhyuk smiles and says, "I knew these things would come in handy someday." Yggdrasil is really surprised to see his power and thinks, "I can't believe it. This aura is that of a higher floor being. How is it that a mere human can exude such an aura?" Jinhyuk says, "What a shame." Jinhyuk throws the Giant King and says, "Since you're the boss of this floor, I'll be nice and give you a fancy death." Everyone outside is really surprised. After that, we see that a really big punch hits the Giant King. The Giant King goes flying. Shun is really surprised. Jinhyuk goes jumping really fast. Jinhyuk appears right in front of the Giant King really quickly. He uses Colossus Soldier. Toongrave. Jinhyuk hits him with a lot of punches with monstrous strength. Overkill. After that, we see that Beak is really surprised. Alice sees that and says, "This bastard. There are a lot of fireworks." She says, "He loves to be a real show-off sometimes." Jinhyuk hits the Giant King with another really big punch. There a really big explosion happens. Shun is really surprised and thinks, Kong Jinhyuk, what have you done? There is a big hole in the ground system, says. Berserk is being undone. King coughs out blood and says, what a one-sided fight. I'm almost ashamed to call myself the king. Jinhyuk gets there, King says. You win. System says, you have defeated the 21st floor boss Ogrechan. Copy condition completely overpower Ogrechan. You have fulfilled the condition. You have successfully copied Berserk. Yggdrasil says, I wanted to make a paradise where no one could hurt my family. But this is how it ends. I assume you will kill all of my remaining children and use this as your base for the 21st floor conquest. I won't resist anymore. Please make it quick. Empire Soldier says, our mercenary has brought down the owner of the fortress. It's our victory. He thinks this fortress is infamous for being impregnable, but he took over the fortress on his own. I never expected this mercenary soldier to be this great. The Empire's mercenary soldier has subjugated the fortress. The fortress is now ours. Miura members says, we need to attack now, but we need time to recuperate. Shun says, you idiots. Jumping to conclusions. There's no way that bastard would do something that benefits others. Jinhyuk says, all of you get out. The giant's fortress is mine. System says, the giant's fortress is now under the veteran company's possession. The Empire army is surprised. Jinhyuk says, what are you staring at me like that for? Get out if you don't want to die. Troll King says, I'm now going to begin fixing up that rotten mind of yours. Repeat squatting up and down 20 times. As you go down, shout a clear. When you come up, yell, mind. I brought in Calical to make the giants cooperate. Calical, the Frost Blade tribe chief, knew how to train the minds of warriors. Thanks to the giants and Yggdrasil, we were able to reconstruct the fortress quickly. When I promised not to kill the giants and now to take away her white jade. Yggdrasil responded very cooperatively. Jinhyuk says, nice. Coin earnings calculated 32,554,632. He got 8 billion views. Jinhyuk says, that's bringing in a lot of views. The video of the 21st floor brought in a massive amount of coins, making many great guilds feel that their positions of power were in danger. It brought in anxiety, that they can no longer be on top of everyone, just became one person. Anyway, the item Ogrechan dropped. Berserk Warrior's Greatsword. It's absolutely humongous. How am I even going to carry this around? He throws it away and says, you can use it for training T-Bone. Andrea gets there and says, you can carry the giant's greatsword that easily? You're amazing. Jinhyuk says, Andrea, must have been difficult getting here. She says, not even it's my duty to respond to my master's summons. Jinhyuk thinks, now that Andrea's here. And Alice is ready too. We just need to wait for Teresa to finish preparing for things. Then we'll be able to take control of the situation without any problems. Wu Liang gets there and says, my liege, I've delivered your message to the Empire and the Murim forces. Jinhyuk says, good work. Wu Liang, how did they react? Wu Liang says, if you want to negotiate over the use of the fortress, then send a delegation to the fortress tomorrow. The Empire seems to think that they've been betrayed. Count Jovio is enraged. And as for the Murim, Shun Yusung looked very disgusted when he heard that he needed to be present at the negotiation. Jinhyuk says, disgusted? That's funny. Jinhyuk says that stalker bastards need to be taught a lesson. How dare he betray me and side with the Murim? Wu Liang thinks, I can never get used to that face. Wu Liang says, and one more thing. This is a relic we took from the demonic humans. We put it in the storage as you ordered. I'm not sure why you would want to keep such an ominous item. My liege. Jinhyuk says, don't try to understand me. Sometimes knowledge makes things more complicated. Wu Liang says, but. Jinhyuk says, no buts. I told you to just trust me. Good work. Wu Liang says, thank you, my liege. Alice says, now that we've taken over the fortress, can we relax a bit? Andrea says, what about our training? I thought that was why I'm here. Jinhyuk says, it's now over just because we took over this place. We're going to use this as our base to bring in people onto our side. But in order to do that, we need to protect this fortress. Alice says, what? Do you think that the Murim or the Empire guys are going to try to attack? After seeing how you took down this place on your own? Jinhyuk says, I'm not talking about the residents of the 21st floor. There are much more dangerous beings. We'll be pretty busy tomorrow, trying to protect this place. So, let's reassess you skills beforehand. Jinhyuk says, it won't be fun to just do that on its own, so how about a bet? I'll grant any one wish of the person who catches me within 5 minutes. Alice says, a bet? Andrea says, a wish? Jinhyuk says, but if you can't catch me within 5 minutes, I'm going to choose your outfit for tomorrow. Alice and Andrea looks toward each other and smiles. Jinhyuk says, ready? Timer gets activated. They all jump toward Jinhyuk. Jinhyuk uses the Sword Demon King's steps. After that we see, the next morning, Mirim and Empire member get there. Jinhyuk says, you're right on time. Sorry to say we don't have any furniture our size yet. You can just sit on the floor if you wish. Would that hurt your pride? Then do whatever you want. Chun thinks, what is this situation? Is he kidding right now? Why are they all dressed like that? Wu Liang is dressed like a mummy. Jinhyuk has a knife through his head. Andrea is a Catwoman. Alice is Frankenstein. Jinhyuk says, by the way, I made this chair myself. Don't be mad. Then let's begin. The bidding for the Fortress usage license. Andrea says, I'm a bit embarrassed, but I don't hate it. The 15th part of the Solo Max level newbie ends here. If you want to see more, please subscribe and like. And if you want to support me financially, you can join my channel membership or Patreon only for $1. Patreon and Discord links are in the description if you want to support me. And a special thanks to all my Patreons for supporting me. Thanks for watching.